All right, guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything's good wherever you are. Guys, I hope you guys are keeping safe. Guys, I just want to let you know I am going to be doing a Calm Brook videos tomorrow, reaction of a public workout, the press conference tomorrow. So we're going to be doing a reaction to that. I have also, I'm recording a video today with a couple of guests, which I'm going to put up tomorrow. Also, I'm hoping to go live on Friday, hoping to go live today. Hope if I get some time. Don't count me on that, but I'll definitely be going live Friday. But yeah, hopefully we'll try to go live today, maybe even if it's not for a long one. But guys, there's some really interesting news that I want to talk about. I want to really talk about this. I want to give a shout out to my guy Luis Suarez. Luis Suarez isn't the biggest Canelo fan out there, but he's a good guy, good dude. He always sends me messages about stuff to boxing. He sent me a message on Instagram. So shout out to Luis Suarez who told me about this, and I actually then researched it. Apparently, David Benavidez, his trainer, has come out and said that Canelo Alvarez was offered more than 50 million to fight David Benavidez. I didn't really I was a little bit confused, to be honest with you, like the way he was coming across. Like he said that, you know, they were offered 50 million, but it's a bit strange because what I don't understand is that Jamal Charlo offer was made quite public, but yet this David Benavidez offer wasn't made public. And we know that, you know, they're both with the PBC. I don't know who Samson, his name was Samson something. I don't want to butcher his name, but yeah, his name was Samson. Samson was basically saying that, you know, that Canelo was offered more than $50 million. He was offered way more than that. He also said something on the lines where, so let's talk about the 50 million first, which is incredible money, by the way. If Canelo was offered that against David Benavidez, I actually think he should take the fight. If that's true, I don't know. Like I said, is his promoter? Is he just saying it? We don't know. I don't know. I'm just going off what he said. And he said, and I don't know if he said he's David Benavidez's promoter. So, you know, so he's obviously a credible source in terms of he's close to David Benavidez. I don't know whether he's just saying that, whether that's actually true or not, because I don't have a clue. Obviously, I'm just telling you what his promoter said. I watched the Boxing Voice. I think it was the interview with the Boxing Voice. So yeah, he was basically just saying that they offered more than 50 million because Canelo and Benavidez is a much more interesting, there's much more demand for that fight over the Charlo fight, which is probably true. It's probably is a bigger fight. It probably is a massive fight. And he even said that he didn't give the exact number, but he just said that he was offered more than $50 million. He was offered way more than $50 million to fight David Benavidez. He wasn't quite clear whether he was offered it, he turned it down. I don't know. And then he said, well, David's got a fight with David Lemieux. He's got a contract with David Lemieux. So if Canelo fight is offered, would you get out of that? He said, no, we wouldn't get out of that because we got a contract with David Lemieux. So I didn't quite understand. Obviously, he's going to be fighting in May. I think, when is Benavidez and Lemieux going to fight? They're going to be fighting in May as well. So if they're going to be fighting in May, I don't quite understand the logic there, because if Canelo's going to be fighting in May, then he was offered 50 million plus to fight David Benavidez. It doesn't, and Benavidez is fighting in May. If he's already got a fight, why would they offer that fight? I'm a bit confused. But his promoter said that Canelo was offered more than 50 million for that fight. Now, you guys can make that of what you want. I do think that the David Benavidez and Canelo fight in the future is going to be massive. And I think the money is going to be probably the most out of all the fights, just because I think David Benavidez is growing his fan base. And David Benavidez is starting, in people's head, David Benavidez is starting to look like a proper threat for Canelo. In people's mind, in some fans' mind. So there are public demand. Also, they're both, you know, David Benavidez, if I'm not mistaken, is American-Mexican. So that rivalry would be massive, and that's potentially a fight that they could have in Mexico. He also said that David Benavidez is willing to take way less than 10 million to fight Canelo Alvarez. Now, I don't know whether the fact that he's willing to take so much less, right? And that money will be given to Canelo, so that's why the money offered will be a lot more. But maybe guys like Jamal Charlo and Caleb Plant wanted more. That's why they could only offer him that. Well, David Benavidez is basically saying we'll take a lot less, which I wouldn't understand. I'd like to think that as a promoter, you'd look to get the best deal for yourself. But he was saying that it's not about the money for David. It's about the glory. It's about the glory. It's not about the money. A lot of fighters say that, but if you're bringing your worth to this fight, if David Benavidez is a legitimate draw and the fight between him and Canelo Alvarez is massive and more bigger than the other fights, then that means it's because David Benavidez is also bringing something to the table, which means that I feel David Benavidez should be compensated for that. Why should he take less money? Not from Canelo's side, but why would he want to take less money? It doesn't make sense from a prize fighter and a promoter. For me, that's not great, is it? Like, why would you take less money? Maybe because he's saying that David Benavidez, he also said David Benavidez is making a lot more money than these guys. He's making a lot more money than these guys. So it's not about the money for him because he's already making a lot of money. But I would be shocked if he's making more money than Jermall Charlo, because Jermall Charlo has been established for a very long time. So it would shock me if David Benavidez is making more money and his paychecks are bigger than Jermall Charlo's paycheck. So I find that a bit difficult to believe. That's what he said. He said because of the fact that David Benavidez is already making a lot more money than most of these other guys, that David Benavidez would be willing to take less money. But that to me sounds... yeah, that doesn't sound right to me. Like, I don't think he's making more money than Jermall Charlo. I don't think so. But, you know, who knows? Maybe, I don't know. I'm just giving my guess because I think Jermall Charlo is a bigger name than him. But maybe I'm wrong. You know, I don't know, you know, what these guys are actually making. I'm just giving you my educated guess on what I think or how big I think their profiles are. But in terms of this fight, I think this is a must fight it's a must happen fight in the future, without question. And I do think it could be bigger. The thing is, if the fight was to happen now, I don't think it's as big as what it could be. I think this fight in 1 or 2 years time could actually be massive, especially if David Benavidez starts actually beating legitimate guys. I think David Benavidez could become a really big star, and he potentially could be a huge fight for Canelo Alvarez. So I don't know whether the timing for this fight is now. I don't think whether the timing for this fight is actually good right now, but I think this fight could definitely be bigger in the future. And also, I think it's a fight that they should do in a massive stadium in Mexico. I think it's got all the ingredients to be a huge stadium fight. But yeah, I was a bit surprised by what he was saying, that he was offered way more money to fight David Benavidez. But obviously, this is something that's not been reported. And why is that? You know, and whether we know that he was offered like 45 mil to fight Jermall Charlo, or roughly around that. There wasn't exact sources, you know, coming out with that, but that's what we just heard. But yeah, it just doesn't seem, just the way he was talking. I don't know. He said that David Benavidez would be willing to take a lot less money than what Plant took. Again, we can only go off what they're saying. Is that true? You know, I'll let you guys make your opinions. I think, you know what, the thing is with the boxing today, we actually talk more about the business side of things as fans than we should be. And we should be talking about these guys fighting, but we actually talk more about the business side because boxing has become such a business, a big business, that now even these things like channels like mine and other channels, we're all talking about like the business side of boxing, because it's like, to us hardcore fans, we love this sort of news as well. Like, we love talking about splits and business and money, like as much as we do breaking down fights. Like, we got Khan Brook, but look how many years that fight took. About 10 years to make. They're saying 10 years too late. Look how long, and how the politics get in the way. You know, one fighter doesn't want to fight another fighter because one fighter is is the biggest star, and he doesn't want to fight the guy that's, that's a little bit lesser known than him. It's crazy. It's crazy how, sometimes the politics in boxing can really ruin fights. And we talk about the business side of things a lot. We talk about the splits and stuff. And it's actually quite interesting to talk about now. And I love talking about it. And I have a lot of knowledge. I love talking about, well, how much he's getting and what split he's on, and, what the pay-per-view numbers are and what the pay-per-view split. Like, all of these things are just sort of the purse bids and all of these things. We love talking about these things. And as fans, we talk about these things as much, if not more, than actually the fights itself and breaking down the fights. And it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Like, I was thinking about this the other day, that I've become such a hardcore fan, whereas like the casual fans, they don't care about any of that. They just want to see two guys go in there and have a good scrap. Do you know what I mean? But us hardcore fans, we care about the business side. We care about who's fighting who. We're talking about fantasy matches. We're talking about the purse bids, the splits. We're talking about everything. And I don't know what boxing was like back 30, 40 years ago, but I don't think these type of things were reported as much. Whereas now I feel like with all this business, politics, and all the things that come into boxing, we also talk about like bad refereeing decisions, judging decisions. We talk about, oh, well, there's corruption here and this, that, and the other. Oh, well, that judge was wrong, and the promoter's doing this, and like we love talking and gossiping in boxing. Us hardcore fans, but the main thing is the gossip and all of that is all good. But at the end of the day, we want to see these guys in the ring and we want to see these guys fighting. So I do think that this potentially could be $100 million fight between Benavidez and Canelo, especially if Benavidez starts to build his audience, start to build his fan base. Yeah, man, I don't think Canelo's the type of guy to turn down any fight. Canelo's not afraid of David Benavidez. I can assure you, if Canelo was offered 50, 60 million, for me, I think Benavidez is a good fighter, but for me, that's a pretty comfortable win for Canelo. I don't see Canelo turning down 50, 55 million to fight David Benavidez, especially if it's weight like this. His promoter, Samson, was saying he's being offered way more than all the other fights that he was being offered. He was being offered way more. This is what he said, way more. Like, it wasn't just more, it was way more. He even said it was way more than 50 million. He didn't give an exact number. He didn't say, well, oh, he's been offered 70 million, or he didn't give an exact number. He just basically said way more. I don't know how much truth is to that. I'll let you guys decide. I'll let you guys make up your minds on what you think about that. Like, personally, like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, I don't see a problem with him fighting David Benavidez. I wouldn't mind that fight or the Charlo fight. And like I even said in my previous video, that I wouldn't mind seeing him fight Jamal Charlo and fighting David Benavidez. But yeah, this is like news to me. What do you guys think? Leave your thoughts. Love to know your opinion. What do you guys think about David Benavidez and Canelo Alvarez? Do you think this is a fight for the future that's going to happen? I know there's going to be people saying, oh, well, Canelo ducked David Benavidez. Like, come on, man. It's David Benavidez's promoter coming out and talking about it. There's no credible source. We've not had Mike Coppinger, Michael Benson, with PBC themselves have not said anything themselves. So we don't know. This is his promoter saying it, So yeah, I don't know. At the minute, until we have concrete proof that this is the truth, we don't know. I just want the fight to happen in the future because I think it's a monster fight and I think it's a good fight. It'll be a good style, fight stylistically. One that I see Canelo winning. I don't see Benavidez being able to beat Canelo. But I'm pretty sure Benavidez is a young, strong, and his promoter said the other thing. He goes, the longer we wait, the more it favors David because David's the younger guy. He's the fresher guy. So that might be true. Maybe David Benavidez develops into a much better fighter later down the road and it benefits David for his development because I think of what I've seen right now, I think I can't see any other winner than Canelo Alvarez. But maybe down the line, if Canelo gets a little older, starts to diminish a little bit, Benavidez comes good. Who knows? It might be more competitive later on. But leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think, guys. And guys, remember to please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video.